All right, so good afternoon to everybody who's here in person or online. Thanks for being on time. All right, okay, so we're in the last few days of class for the year, and then thereafter we're off for a little bit. Sorry. So we're backtracking to do a topic here that should have been done at the end of the limited companies stuff there, and I was supposed to print out these questions for you all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I don't think I have time to print 11 copies of the whole thing in one go. So I might print it out question by question, if anything. Yeah, that might be what had to happen here. Yeah, 14 pages by 11. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. We could do one page at a time. Okay. Right, so the name of the topic that we're doing today is cooperatives. Now, it's not a topic that I did when I was in school because it was not on the syllabus at that point in time. However, it is there now, has been for some time. So we had to do it, right? Now, it really should be done right at the end of limited companies because basically what happens is that there's some journal entries because they also issue shares. There's an appropriation account, and they like to give you guys the balance sheet extract to do, which of course will have share capital and reserves, right? So it tends to be a little easier than companies in some respects, and not so easy in some respects as well. So we're going to take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So we could spend today, Wednesday, and Friday. We could leave the receipts and payments for sometime next term because it's just a one-day thing, to be honest, right? And I think we should probably spend adequate time on this topic. Right, so I didn't get a chance to print out the entire handout for you all, but I mean, it's just questions, and I suppose you could always write on the back of the page or if you have your own book, whatever the case is. All right. Right, and I'm gonna take my rule before we proceed. Right, so I saw Aisha is there, Aliana is there, and it says here Aya's online. Devin, I don't know. Jada and Jaden, yes. Janaya out for Christmas. Jazira, yes. Judith, watch you replay. Cassie is online. What's that? Okay. Kelsey is here, Liam online, Logan here, Marcus here, Matthias, I just saw him. Noah, anybody know gonna know? Alright, Nyla is here. Olivia watches the replays. Paige is here, Sequoia Moon online. Shamal, like he not bought lessons today. Shiraz was the first man on the inside. Talia might pop in just now. Teresa is here, as is Valentino. So that's almost the full class. It's just one or two people missing, to be honest. And they might pop in just now. So that's not a big deal. Alright. Okay. Is that enough? No. Okay. Good. How you doing? Okay, sorry. And for those online, actually, let me send you all the PDF for the questions that we're doing today. So at least that way you have it, you could even work ahead because I have all the solutions from before. So you could do that if you want, if you know what you're doing, if you figure it out. When I say based on what I'm going to show you. All right. All right. Okay, cool. Wait, oh, did it not go through? Wait, and that thing didn't go through for me either? For real? Hold on, I sent this a message last night. Try again. Why is it not sending? That is so weird. Oh, okay. Alright, well, tell him we hope he feels better soon and he could always check out the replays. No problem. Alright, so yeah, so those online, you don't have to print it out or anything like that. We will be working from it. Right, I'm gonna zoom in. Just give me a second to open my worksheet. Right, just gonna format a template sheet and then we're gonna start working. Yeah, I like a very specific format for my numbers. What is that? Oh, right, cool. And I like a very specific font as well. Cool. All right, so that's the template sheet, and then I'll just copy and paste that as we go along. Okay, so let's pull this back up here, right? Right, so like I was saying, cooperatives are also called sometimes, well, there are different types and they have certain features you have to know. I have some notes across here which I'm going to give you now. Yo. Any? Yeah, I have people. You could. Okay, what I want to do is we're going to bypass part A for now. Actually, maybe we should, no, you know what, we'll go in order because I think that might be the best way to do it. Because some of y'all might not remember what we did company-wise. Uh-huh. No problem. Mm-hmm. Like she's by the computer because I'm for the tree diagrams. Yeah. And I'm like, do you understand so far? It's not like. Okay. Okay, good. And then I'm like, do you understand? Hey, what to do? Message in WhatsApp. And see, because maybe she thinks her mic is working. Okay. Because that happened to me once last week. Our whole class recorded no audio, and I didn't know. So check it out now. Okay, see you. And if I'll give her worst case scenario, give her a call. And if not, and nobody there, it's up to you. Or you want to proceed. Well, I mean, if anything, I'll just go home. What do you need to worry about today? All right. Okay. There. Cool. All right. Yeah, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so it starts off here. So just by the way, this is the 2010 January paper, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer that. Identify 2 essential features of cooperatives, okay? So actually, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to give you all right? So let me just zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to do, so this is the 2010 paper 2 question, hold on, question what? Question 7. All right, so this is before they cut down the questions to 5, right? So cooperatives. Right, okay, cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna put a text box. Give me a sec. Okay, cool. And give me 1 sec again. I'm gonna just see where my grid lines end. Oh, that's right to the end. That is okay, cool. Oh, okay, cool. So maybe I could just come across. Yeah. Is that good? That's good. Yeah. Come out what? I'm on 227. Okay, we don't need 227, right? So make sure it's book. Okay, cool. So two. Two. Okay, not 2. Essential features of cooperatives. People are hot foot on his vacation. Okay, so the first thing is that there is democratic control, right? Now, for those of you who remember limited liability companies, a person can buy a piece of the company and thereby become part owner, and the piece that they buy is called a share. With cooperatives, they also raise capital by issuing shares. Now, with a limited company, every time you buy a share, you own a bigger and bigger piece of the company. And if each share has a voting right, so like when they are in their general meetings and they're trying to vote on something, the more shares you have is the more votes you get. And anybody who owns 50.1 or 50, more than 50% of the shares basically owns the company, because any decision they will vote how they want and they'll always have the majority, right? With a cooperative, what they do is they democratize it. So what that means is that Somebody could own one share and somebody could own 1,000 shares. They still only get one vote. Now, that might seem unfair because the person who bought 1,000 owns more, but that's not how they see it. They see it that in a limited company, that is a for-profit enterprise. A cooperative is not a for-profit enterprise. It's not a profit-making entity, right? As a matter of fact, they don't call their profit. They call it something different, which we'll get into a bit later, all right? The people who own shares, yes, are called shareholders, but they're also called members. And one of the core tenets of the philosophy of cooperatives is that we are doing this activity, forming this cooperative for the benefit of the members, right? It's the members' welfare that we are trying to maximize. We're not trying to maximize profit. However, if doing so will allow us to maximize the members' welfare, then so be it, right? So the principle of democratic control within a cooperative means that no matter how many shares you own or you've bought, you still only get one vote. So no one person can play big bad and be the bully and say, well, we're doing things my way. Say, no, it have 20 earlier, you all own shares, everybody get a vote, right? A vote, a single vote, right? So there is democratic control in the sense that shareholders are allowed, oh, here's Yuri. I know he'd show up. All right. Hey, good afternoon, Yuri. How you doing? Good to see you. You haven't missed too much. We're doing a topic called cooperatives today, but going straight from the past papers. The first thing is asking about the essential features, which is a good place to start. All right. So there's democratic control in the sense that shareholders are. What was I saying? Yeah, no worries. It's cool, right? Are allowed only one vote, regardless of how many shares they own, right? So everyone has an equal say in the equal say in the running or the affairs of the cooperative. All right. So again, cooperatives are what we call not-for-profit entities. Their major objective is the maximization of the welfare of their members, and to that end, right, the principle of democratic control allows each person one vote, regardless of how many shares that person may hold. All right. So that's the first one. The second essential feature is that the cooperative is formed to maximize the benefits or welfare of its members, right? And that's what I was just talking about. Right? All right, I dot E dot, right? The major objective unlike, limited liability companies, right, is not profit maximization. Oh, sorry, my mom calling. Hey, mom. Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. I saw. Okay, lovely. Cool. All right. All right, so I realize you notice a little redundant, a little repetitive, but that's just what we have so far. All right. Now, one of those things is that they also they encourage continuous education of members. There's another core, right here. There's core. The beliefs at the core is also right here. members are encouraged to learn more about the trade or activity of the cooperative and encouraged to further their own education and fortunes. Right, so we have democratic control, the maximization of the benefits or welfare of its members, continuous education. Who could that be? Talia? So we're talking about cooperatives today. We're going straight to the past papers. I'll print out one of the sheets for you. I had to do one at a time because I forgot to print it out beforehand. I don't have time to print out 12 copies of 40 pages now. No, what am I doing? Current page. Yeah, and I have some notes on the board there. Well, not right now. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we have continuous education. Right, so members can and are encouraged to take an active part in the running of the affairs of the cooperative. That stand up and wait and watch. Right, and this is partially why continuous education is so important. Right? Because you don't want somebody trying to run your entity that has no idea what it's about or how to perform the functions they're trying to help with. Right? Right, and then this is the last one, by the way, right? Limited interest on capital as cooperatives strive to reinvest as much of their earnings as possible in order to facilitate growth and more benefits for members in the future. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, boy. Open membership. Right. Right. So open membership, which is that anyone can become a member of a cooperative. Right. is no restriction on who can become a member. Right? So again, on the what? Voluntary what? Well, yeah, I mean, they can't really requisition to become a member. You know, it's not the army. You know, so yeah, so yeah, if you want to vote voluntary, yeah. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items here. All right, so again, try to, like I said, make it make sense to you, right? You might not remember all 6, but you can. It's not impossible. I used to quite often remember long lists when I was in secondary school. I had a system where I would make up like words or phrases or whatever the case is to me remember. Like anybody doing PoA or econ and then money, right? And there are some characteristics of money. So we did adds up. So acceptable, divisible, durable, stable, uniform, portable, scarce, and there was one more, right? And then like what was the other one, boy? Yeah, it had some long ones. Just to make up some interesting long words and phrases to try to remember all those things. Yeah, portability adds up. So the portability was the second to last one. Yeah, uniform, portable, and scarce. All right. What for characters of money? Adds ups. So like when you add up something, or something adds up to something, so adds up and it's other S, adds ups. What was the other one, boy? There was something with it was factors against factors affecting demand, and my friend said tip tap. So it's time, income, price of substitutes, taste and preferences, and price of so advertising, and then price of complements. Yeah, I can't remember when I make up. It was a weird one. All right. Okay, so that is the first part of the question. Identify 2 essential features of cooperatives. I gave you 6, so pull any 2 you want. All right, state 2 similarities between cooperatives and corporations. They issue share capital to raise issue shares to raise capital, and they pay dividends to their members. So I'll put that one too. All right. All right, so 2 similarities between cooperatives and limited liability companies. They both issue shares to raise capital, and they pay dividends to their shareholders, members. Right, so that was right. So this answers 7. So this is 2010 part E. All right. So again, I'll give you a minute or two to finish copy that stuff down, and then we'll proceed with the other part of the question. Yeah. You know, normally notes are already written out for I just explain, but such was not the case with this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Luis. Linda. Lina. All right, cool. There we go. Oh, we ready? Or we need a minute again? Okay, I still seeing some writing. Yeah, so take your time, don't rush. We have time and we have days, so it's not a big problem. That was good. Ready? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So let's cool. So let's put the question back on the top. All right, and on top we'll zoom in a little bit more as well. Okay, cool. So we did part A. Let's take a look specifically at part B, and what we could do, we could pull this up a little bit to blank out, right? All right, so the Silver Keys Fishermen's Cooperative Society began operation on Jan 1, 2009 with 200 members. Each member purchased 50 shares for $20 each. Prepare the journal entry to show the startup of the cooperative. Right, so we know when a limited liability company issues shares, it is to raise capital. So when the company issues shares and money comes in, we debit what? When money comes in and we collect money, what account do we debit? Bank or cash, right? So you debit bank or cash, and you credit what? Where the money comes from. Where's the money coming from? The issue of shares. So you'll credit your share capital account. So for here now, let's put general journal. Sorry. So we have the details here. We have the debit. We have the credit. Right. So we just said to record the what you call it, the issue of shares, and well, people buying, we'll debit bank. Sorry. And we credit share capital, right? Right. But the question is how much? For how much? What is the dollar figure attached to this transaction here? Well, let's go back here and let's unpack the little statement, the sentence here. So the Silver Keys Fishermen's Cooperative Society, began operation on 1 Jan 2009. So if they give you a date column, you can fit it in there, right? 2009, Jan 1, with 200 members. So the members are the people who are buying the shares. Okay. Each member purchased 50 shares and 20 each. So how will we work out the total amount of money coming in? You multiply. What by what? By what? Right, so 50 by 20 will give us the value of the shares each person or each member purchased. And then we can multiply that by the number of members who purchase shares, which is how much? Well, 200. Right. So we could put 200 members multiplied by $50 per share, multiplied by, sorry, not $50 per share, 50 shares, sorry. By 50 shares, multiplied by $20 per share. Right, so 200, multiplied by 50, multiplied by 20 is, hold on, why I have this decimal place, boy? Okay. Right. Oh, let me fix it here too. Sorry. Okay. All right. That'll work. Right. So the debit and the credit are the same value. Now, it doesn't say that narratives can be omitted, so let's not omit any narratives here. All right, so to record the issue of how many shares, boy? So 200 members by 50 shares, that's 10,000, yeah, of 10,000 shares at $20 each. Right, and that's your general journal there. Right, so once again, the journal entry to show the startup of the cooperative is the journal entry to record the issue of the shares to the members. There were 200 members who each purchased 50 shares. So 200 by 50 will give us 10,000 shares, and each share costs $20. Right, so then 10,000 by 20 will give us 200,000. The debit goes to bank, and the credit goes to share capital. Okay. Correct. Both accounts are going up. Okay. All right. So this section here. So Teresa, Shamo, and Logan. Are we okay with the journal entry? Any questions? Anything? No? All right. The middle section here. So my girls and my guys. We okay with that? Any questions, problems, issues? No? On my far side. So Josie, and Mr. Kelsey, and Tino. You all okay with that? Okay. All right. Google Meet. Give me a quick G in the chat if you're good with what's on the screen, please and thanks. If you need me to re-explain, please let me know. Okay, wow. All right, thanks very much for responding, guys. I appreciate it. Right, of course, if anybody needs me to re-explain it, do the drill. Put a R or just message me directly. All right, so 8 out of 10. So still 2 people cannot stay in silent, but all right. Let's go. Okay, let's pull this back down to around here now. Okay, let's take a look at part C. So it says that the Brighton Teachers Credit. So this is a different credit union, right? So we had Silver Keys, and now it's Brighton, all right? Let's maximize that. So the Brighton Teachers Credit Union's share capital stands at $300,000. Shares were sold to the members at $3 each. So quick question. If the share capital, the value, the dollar value of the share capital is $300,000, and each share costs $3, how many shares were issued? 100,000. Because if it's $300,000 and $3 each, and we divide, we'll get 100,000 shares, right? Now that might come in handy, or it might not, but it might. Hey, Kerry, good afternoon. How are you doing? All right. The credit union's income statement for the year ended 30th June 2009 showed a surplus of 70,000. So please note that this word surplus is what they call their profit. Sorry, I'm trying to highlight it. Okay. Not working? Not working? All right, cool, no problem. Cool, so, right. So that word surplus, that's their word for profit. So again, cooperatives are non-profit or not-for-profit organizations. So because they don't try to earn profit, they don't call it profit. But they will still have inflows or revenues, and they'll still have outflows or expenses, and the difference between it will be called the surplus. If they make a loss, they call it a deficit, all right? So they have a profit of 70,000. Now, undistributed surplus, so that there is what they call the retained profits or retained earnings, or the profit and loss reserve, right? So the retained profits or retained surplus brought forward from last year was 55,000. Now, what does this phrase say here? The total available surplus is to be shared in the following manner. Now, the total available surplus is a combination of the current year's surplus and the previous year's surplus. So what they're saying here is before you start making appropriations, you're going to take the current year's surplus of 70 and you're going to add it to the previous year's surplus brought forward of 55. Now, I'm going to show you all this stuff. I'm just walking you through it first, right? But I'm just going to let you know. Different questions sometimes have different instructions. There's at least one question where they'll say, out of the current year's surplus, the following appropriations have to be made, which means you're not going to add last year's surplus brought forward, but we'll get to that. For now, they want us to add both of them together. So the total available surplus is to be shared in the following manner. 20% to be transferred to the Teachers Education Development Fund, 5% to be given as a charitable donation to the school for the hearing impaired, 30% to be transferred to the loan fund, 25% to be paid out as dividends to members. So they want the appropriation of profits account, the dividend paid on each share, and then the return on capital employed. So we'll talk about that, but we haven't done ratios yet. But if you want to see the calculation, it's not a hard one. I'll show you, right? Anyhow, So let's put this on top here, and what we're gonna do, I'll do B and C on this page, right? So give me 1 sec. B and C. Cool. So we're gonna scroll down a little bit. Put a little separator line, and we're gonna head up Brighton Teachers Credit Union. So by the way, there are different types of cooperative societies. You have buying cooperatives, lending cooperatives, financial cooperatives. Again, the purpose of it is to try to, what do you call it, enhance the welfare of the members. So if, let's say there were some farmers who couldn't afford to buy a particular piece of machinery or some particular grain for their cattle or whatever, what they might do is they might put together their funds, almost like a partnership. They'll pool their funds and make a big bulk buy to get a better average cost. So then they'll share it up, bring the cost down for everybody, and then proceed from there. All right? So they have different types of cooperatives. Right? So the credit union is usually a financial cooperative. So they're into lending. Right? And this is going to be the... So always try to use the terminology they use. So the appropriation of profits account. Now, again, the ironic part here is that they are calling it an appropriation of profits account, despite the fact that they don't call what they earn profit. All right? And it's for the year ended the 30th of June, 2009. Okay. Right. So we head up as per usual, right? The name of the entity, the name of the statement, and the period to which it applies. Our starting thing would be the current year surplus, or you could put current year surplus or surplus for the year ended 30th to 2009. Right, so current year surplus is 70,000. I'm going to add to that the the undistributed surplus brought forward. So undistributed surplus brought forward. That's 55,000. Sorry, 55 tax. Right, so total available surplus. Right, add that together. Right. So I'll take a little pause there so you can copy down where to copy down and ask whatever questions you may have up to this point. Right. So again, what we're doing, so a cooperative again is a non-profit or not-for-profit entity that has as its major objective the maximization of the welfare or benefits for its members. So what they encourage them to do, when you become a member, you enjoy certain benefits, certain discounts, etc., etc. Part of the benefit as well is being able to enjoy dividends. Right? The dividends, of course, will be shown from the appropriation account. So again, that's something in common that limited companies and cooperatives will have. They'll both have appropriation accounts. Right? They will look pretty much the same as well, save for some different terminology that they plan to use. All right, now, what do we do from here? Well, as they say in Sweet Child of Mine, where do we go? Where do we go now? Right. All right, so it says that the total available surplus is to be shared in the following manner. Right, so we have 4 appropriations. So we simply say less appropriation. Right, so Teachers Education Development Fund. So that's 20%. Yeah, I needed some more room on the horizon, right? So Teachers Education Development Fund, so 20% of that, so is equal to minus this. Right. Then we have donation to school for the hearing impaired. Alternatively, you can just put charitable donation. That's equal to 5% of that. 30% to be transferred to loan fund. So transfer to loan fund. Sorry, I forgot to put the percentage here, my bad. Right, so 30, sorry, 30%. $37.5. And finally, dividends. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Right, you can even put this here if you want. Right, and then add these together. And you're going to subtract on it. So you're subtracting the 100,000 from the 125,000 to get 25. And that here is the undistributed surplus carried forward. Right, so this is the entirety of the appropriation account. Superwoman boy. All right, one sec. Let's go back here for a second. That's just me sending a picture of what's on the screen. And this one coming up too. All right. How's that looking so far, guys? How y'all feeling with that? Seeming okay? All right, okay, cool. Well, we'll see how it is as it goes along. All right, we have a couple little bits and pieces to add to that. And of course, you're going to have something to try on your own. All right, Google Meet, can I just get a quick Gene chat if you are good with what's on the screen there? If you need me to re-explain anything, just give me a quick R and let me know so I can help you out. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 up to 10 again. All right, cool. Anyone still taking down? Yeah, I've seen some pencil writing, so I'll give you a minute or two again because I want to tackle the other two parts. Well, at least the other part. Right. Okay, so the other part of the question. Yeah. Said to calculate the dividend that was paid on each share and show your workings. Just 3 marks, right? So the dividend paid on each share. So remember we said that the share capital, because it stands at $300,000 in value, which with each of the shares being sold for 3, right? So $300,000 worth of shares divided by $3 per share gives us how many shares? 100,000. Okay. So if we have 100,000, and how much do we pay in terms of dividends? We paid this much in dividends. So given this is the value of dividends paid out, and we have 100,000 shares, how would we then calculate the dividend per share? Divide. Very good. Okay, cool. So calculation of dividend per share for the year ended What was it again? It was December? No, June, right? Okay, so we'll take total dividends paid, and that's equal to 31,250 from on top here. And what we'll do is we'll divide by the number of shares in issue. Right, so we could take 300,000 and divide that by the $3 per share. And when we divide, we get 0.3125. So in other words, you get 31.25 cents per share. Right, so it's not $31.25, that is $0.3125, which is 31 cents, right? And a little bit more, so like 31.25 cents. Right, and then this last one here is the calculation of the return on capital employed, right? So right. The return on capital employed is a measure of profitability, which we will get into when we do ratios. All it does is it takes the profit for the year, or in this case the surplus, and expresses it as a percentage of the invested capital, hence what they call the return on capital. It's like trying to find out the percentage interest you made on your capital invested. All right, so we're going to take 70,000 and divide by 300,000. So dividends paid in total. No, sorry. Surplus earned for the current year. We're going to divide by the capital employed. Right, so again it was 300,000. Wow, okay. So that had that effect. Not good, not good. One second, huh? Hello? Yeah, we had it yesterday and I don't know where it gone. Check inside the cupboard. I don't know if it's there. Huh? What? You can check inside the cupboard outside, check on the couch, maybe check on the couch or the car. We went to fill it up on the other side, but I went on that side, I didn't see it. So yeah, sorry, I don't know. Yeah. All right, one sec. Yeah, sorry. Oh, cut there, boy. All right, but in class, people, are we okay with the calculations on the screen? Huh? Yeah, what did I do? I added? Wow, my bad. Yeah, so sorry, so 23.33%, right? This is like trying to figure out the interest rate on a loan or something like that. It's just the interest rate on the investment. So they invest capital and they earn the profit, or in this case, the surplus. So you take what you earned and you divide it by what you invested, and you find out what is your return, right? How much you get back. Okay. All right. Google Meet, if you guys are good with what's on the screen, just kindly give me a quick Genie chat. Please and thanks. If, of course, you need me to re-explain, just give me a R. No problem. All right. In class, people, we okay with what's on the screen there? Any questions? Anybody? Anything? Sure. Okay. Cool. All right. So that's about it for this question. All right. So we got the 2 marks as 4, 4 and 4 is 8, and then down here we had 12, so full 20. Okay, cool. All right, so let me print out this particular page for those in class currently. Current page, 12 copies, auto, rotate, and center. Current page, not current view. Wow. Okay. All right, so those online, just give me a minute to get the pages printed and distributed, and then we'll continue. All right, in the meantime, you're very free to look at what's on the screen to see if you want to start. Okay, folks. Let's take a look at what's on the screen. I guess we could zoom in a little bit more. We'll scroll along when necessary. Right, so we're just focusing on this part on top of here. So 50 housewives in the Goodlands community started a buying cooperative. So again, a buying cooperative is a cooperative where the members put together their funds to take advantage of bulk buying. What does that mean? So instead of, let's say, going to the grocery or going to the convenience store and paying, I guess, top price for something, they might go to the supplier. But to go by the supplier, you have to spend, let's say, a few $1,000s in order to get a better price. So you get X amount of quantity at a better price. So it's like if you go Price Smart, you get a better price because you're buying like 2, 3, 4, 500 items, right? So that's what a buying cooperative is. People pooling their funds together to take advantage of better average prices on larger quantities. On 1 May 2009, they each paid a $6 registration fee and agreed that each member would buy 25 shares at $10 each. They want the journal entries to record the monies collected for the registration fees and share purchase. Right. So it's how many people? 50. What is the registration fee? $6. So you're going to record that separately and first, and then you're going to record the issue of the shares after. So how many people? 50. How many shares they buying? Each? 25. At what price? 10. The registration fee is 6, and the share price is $10 each. All right, so you have 2 sets of journal entries to do here for me. Ew. So what I'm gonna do is gonna push that to the top of the screen. I'm gonna copy and paste a sheet down here. So even if it's still working, you have a couple of minutes, about a minute again. This is the 2011, 2012, 2011, right? 2011 me. Right, so that's 2010. Look at on the bottom right hand side, you'll see it. Right, so 2010 me 2 question 6 50 housewives. No, I think it's good lands. It's good lands, right? Good lands housewives, right? Oh, thank you. Yes. All right, so general journal. All right, so details, debits, credits. Right, so whether it's the registration fee or it's the actual share capital, when you collect the money, into what account does it go? It goes into the bank account. Right, so we're gonna debit bank, right? And it's 50 housewives, 50 people. I'm multiplying by $6 each, right? $6 each. That's just 300, right? And this is registration fees. Right? And then for the share capital, so again, bank and right, share capital. Right, so again, 50 people multiplied by 25 shares multiplied by $10 per share. So 50 by 25 by 10. Okay, so 5. Cool. Okay, how are we looking there, guys? Yes, no, maybe? All right. Google Meet, you know the drill. Give me a quick G if you're good with that, please and thanks. Okay, cool. 8 out of 10. And 2 people sleeping on it. Okay. So I'll give you a minute or so if you have to copy anything down, but I want to move on to the next part. Right. So let's maximize the top here and take a read. So at the end of the second year of operation, the total share capital was $25,000. So clearly, from the journal entry just now, we had 12,005. 25,000 is double that. So they clearly raised more capital during the second year, and it's by the same amount, right? The following figures were extracted from the books as at April 30th, 2011. So the surplus for the current year is 108,900, and the undistributed surplus brought forward is 48,600. So the board of management has proposed the following: transfer 20% to the education fund, transfer 15% to Cooperatives Health Benefit Plan Reserve Fund. Right? Members are to receive a 25% refund on total patronage sales of $180,000 for the year ended April 30th, 2011, and a payment of 10% of share value as dividends. All right, so hold on. You have to prepare the appropriation account. Right. Now, did they specifically say here whether to use the current year's surplus or the total surplus? Did they? No, they did? That's total share capital. Right, so they didn't, right? So if they didn't, based on what we saw before, you can add them together, right? Although, my personal feeling is that you're not really supposed to, because this undistributed profit from previous years has already had amounts appropriated out of them, right? So anyhow, what we'll do is we'll add them together and then do the appropriations, right? So it's 20% of that total to education, 15% to start this particular fund, right? Now, these last two items are not percentages of the surplus. The dividends is the easier one, right? So it's 10% of share value. That's simply 10% of 25,000, right? Which is 2,500. Now, what is this thing here, right? A patronage refund, right? So members are to receive a 25% refund on total patronage sales. So a patronage sale, what is that? Is that different from regular sales? Okay. So what happens is that the cooperative probably has a store. And when you buy shares, and as a member, you go in the store and you buy, you know, like how you go in Massy, you have your Massy card, you get Massy points, and you can then redeem the points, that kind of thing. Right. That's basically what's happening here. The patronage refund is like their Massy points. But instead of putting it on a card, and then you can only use it to buy groceries with, they'll actually give them cash. So it's like a kind of cashback kind of something, right? So what you have to do is find 25% of the 180, and that's going to come out of the available surplus, right? And again, the 10% of share value as dividends is simply 10% of the total share capital value currently in issue, right? So you're going to start up, as we did before, Goodlands Housewives Cooperative appropriation account for the year ended 30th April 2011. Start off by adding these two together to get total available surplus. Make your 4 appropriations, and then that is it. Well, show what remains after you make those appropriations. Patronage refund. That's 1089. The current surplus is 1089. Because the one below is undistributed, which implies that one brought forward from previous year. Yep. Okay. Right. So if you look back at what we did just now, right, the first thing we put in was the current year surplus plus the surplus brought forward to get total available. All right. So in this particular case, we have the surplus of 1089 for the current year, and the undistributed as 486. Okay. So just add those two and then start to make your appropriations from there.
Chris,
Yo,
how do you tie your tie?
how do I tie my tie?
How did you?
With my hands?
No, but like it's like a frog.
Yeah, usually is. Yep. Because it normally is a black tie. So normally,
Oh, and you, but like how do you tie your tie like that?
all right. When we finish your appropriation, I can't touch you. Huh? Oh. All right, so I'll give you a minute or two again if you need it. If you need more time, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Are we going to get through it? Okay, you start. All right, cool. So what's the first thing supposed to go inside? Okay, so it didn't copy down the example from before?
Yeah.
All right. So what was the first thing that went in? And then we added the undistributed, right? Okay. So if we look here, we start off, the first two is the surplus and the undistributed. Yeah. And if you're having trouble, just sit down and do nothing, tell me. So you could get through there. And even if you, let's say that stuff, right? You could leave room for it. Because if you know, for example, you're supposed to do these other things, you could at least head them up. I mean, you wouldn't get the figures for the first two because they'd be based on this sum here. But this one was based on the share 25% of 180, and this was based on 10% of the 25. Right? Yeah. So even if you can't get everything, get something. All right, cool. It don't matter which one you put first. I would just go in order. Uh-huh. Dividing? No. I mean multiplying the percentage. Now, so the 25% refund is on the 180. So you had to find 25% of 180. And then the dividends is 10% of share value, which we saw up here as 25,000. So the dividend is 10% of 25,000, and the patronage refund is 25% of 180. Yeah. One more time. Of the total available surplus, yes? 5. Yeah. All right. Let's start starting here, shall we? Okay, let me actually put some borders on this. All right, so the Goodlands Housewives Cooperative. Goodlands Housewives, right? Okay, cool. Appropriation account for the year ended 30th April 2011. Right, so a couple of y'all said it didn't know how to start. So I was like, okay, well, we did an example just now, which I thought you were copying down, and which I did send a picture, and of which I did send a picture in the chat. So you could always refer to the example as a guide, right? That's kind of the point of them, right? So you start by adding the surplus to the undistributed surplus brought forward. All right, so let's see, do we have that? Now it just says surplus and undistributed profit. So even though it doesn't say current year, the fact that the one below says undistributed means that that one is the one from the previous years, and the one labeled surplus has to therefore be from the current year. So current year's surplus is 108,900. And we have to add the undistributed. Well, this they call it profit. I'll put surplus, right? Because it's supposed to be surplus. Oh my god. Right, so this is the total available surplus. Right, or you could call it total surplus available for distribution. That's a little longer, but you could put it. Right, and now, after you have your total available surplus, what are we doing? We are appropriating. So we have to less the appropriations. Right. Okay, so what are the appropriations, right? We have 4 of them, right? So we have a transfer of 20% to the education fund, right? So education fund, 20% of total available surplus. And a transfer of 15% to commence health benefit plan reserve fund, health benefit plan reserve fund, 15% of total available surplus. Right. The other 2 things are not based on the surplus as a percentage. So members are to receive a 25% refund on the total patronage sales. Right. So again, it's like a kind of massy points back, a kind of cashback rewards. So you find a percentage of the sales, right? So this is called a patronage refund. And 10% of share value as dividends. All right, and the share value was given to us up in the sentence on top of here, 25,000. All right, so we add these things together and subtract from the total available surplus. That'll give us the undistributed surplus carried forward. Right, so this is what the appropriation account could look like. Okay, in class, people, are we okay with what's on the screen there? Yes. Any questions, anybody, anything? Are you sure? Yes. All right, Google Meet, you know the drill. If you guys are good with that, just kindly give me a G in the chat, please and thanks. If of course you need me to re-explain, it's not a problem, just let me know, give me an R. All right, so this question isn't done, eh? We have other parts to it. The next one. Actually, let's get on to Roseau. All right. Current page, 12 copies. So what we will do here is we'll go specifically to part C, the appropriation account, and then I'll show you how to do part D, which is the capital section of the balance sheet, all right? Yeah, well, I might have an example. You probably will see it. Wait. Oh, for a second I thought I forgot to start the recording. Okay, let's take a little read through. So the Roseau Valley Farmers Cooperative was formed on 1 Jan 2011. This is the 2012 paper, I believe, right? Jan 2012, right? So this question, so cooperatives was coming regularly, right? 2010, 2011, 2012. And they were kind of alternating between May and Jan. Now, there are 8,000 farmers, each of whom contributed $20 towards the purchase of initial shares. All right. At the end of the first year of operation, the cooperative realized a surplus of $268,500. Okay, so let's backtrack a little. If there are 8,000 farmers and each of them puts forward $20 for the purchase of initial shares, how do we calculate the total money coming in, therefore? It multiply the number of people and the amount of money each of them contributed, right? So 8,000 by 20 is $160,000 worth of share capital. Now, it says the Board of Management made the following decisions. A total of $80,000 is to be paid out in patronage refund, right? So this is an appropriation here. 20% of the surplus is to be transferred to a statutory reserve fund. 10% of surplus per year is to be reserved in an education fund. And dividends of 8% are to be paid on members' shares. Now, 8% is on the share capital value, not the surplus, right? So the 8,000 by 20 being 160, that is the value on which you'll calculate your dividends. All right, so don't worry with part A. Right, so don't worry with part A. Right, you can do part B if you remember. Basically, part B will be 268.5 divided by the 160. Right, you can plug that up in your calculator, we'll do that, right? I want you to definitely focus on part C, right? I'm going to give you about 12 to 15 minutes to do that. We're going to correct it. I can't give the whole 15 because I'll request a 555 anyhow, but I'll see how much I can give you, right? And then I want to make sure and do this capital section before you go, all right? Okay, so 10 minutes. So start off, head up, Roseau Valley Farmers Cooperative, appropriation account for the year ended 31 December 2011. And here, look, you only have one surplus figure here. You don't have any undistributed surplus brought forward. There's only one surplus figure. So you're starting with that. Then you put in less appropriations, and you put in these things. The first one they give you. The first one, you have no calculation. They've given you the 8,000. John Harper, good afternoon. How are you? Right. 20% and 10% is of the 268, and the 8% is of the 160. You mean put it up? mom? No, she came at 12, so she's supposed to have her pickup at 8. Yeah. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay. No, but I could do that now because the kid's working. Okay, cool. So, today, no. Tomorrow I can. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, bye. Yes, I was telling Paige that somebody was liking plenty. And she was like, "Who's that boy?" I said, "Well, I saw Josiah on, so I don't know if it was Josiah or you." Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Right. So that's the surplus divided by the value of share capital. Cool. But it's on the syllabus. So, well, that's more of a ratios thing. But they could ask it anyway.
all over the place. I don't have my 14. There you go.
And how's it dog? You hurt you? We're gonna starting here. So you still have about a minute again to finish off whatever. This is 2012, right? 2012 Jan? Right, cool. So, Victoria. Hello. Right. Right, so we are doing the appropriation account. For the year ended 31 December 2011. Right. Now, that, okay, cool. Right, I had a, what's a little skin on there. Okay, cool. So, we're gonna start with the surplus, which is just 268,500 less appropriations. Right, so patronage refund is 80,000. Statutory reserve fund. Right, that's 20% of the 68.5. 268.5, sorry. Right, so the education fund, 10% of the surplus. And dividends. All right, so 8% of, that's the 8,000 multiplied by the 20. All right, and that is the undistributed surplus carried forward. All right, how are we looking there, guys? I got the 95,150. Okay. All right, now I want to do the capital section for the balance sheet real quick. Just give me 2 minutes to organize it. No. All right, so. Balance sheet extract. As at 31 December 2011. Okay, so we're going to start with the share capital, which again we said was it was 8,000 people multiplied by 20 each, right? Yeah, 8,000. Okay, cool. Now, the reserves. Right, so ladies and gents, we were given two reserves here and the undistributed surplus, right? So we have the statutory reserve fund, 52.7, the education fund, right, and then the undistributed surplus, right? Total share capital and reserves. Right. Okay, cool. So, right, the capital section shows literally the capital invested, the share capital, and the reserves. The reserves would come from the appropriation account in this case, right? Now, in the future questions we're going to do, we're going to end up having opening balances for the reserves, and then we're going to have appropriations to them. So we're going to have to add those two things together. All right, but this is what this one looks like for now. Okay, so folks, Google Meet, just give me a quick G if you're good with what I have there. All right, if you need me to re-explain anything, give me a quick R. Let me know specifically what it is so I could zero in at time. In class, people, how are you feeling about on the board there? Any questions, anybody, anything? Okay, cool.
Turns out it was my iPad getting in trouble, so I couldn't
Oh.
hear them.
Oh.
But they couldn't hear me. But what I had them do was just when I was like, alright, all good, they messaged me on WhatsApp. So they were
Right.
I responded there.
Okay, yeah, I saw some stuff coming through there.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of 10, 6 out of 9. All right. Okay, that's 2/3. All right, so folks, we'll put a pin in it there for today. We'll come back on Wednesday. We continue with more cooperatives. All right, have a good evening. See you all next time. Bye.